game is still going on as regards who is behind the violence which has done so much damage in so little time, and who might be hindering relief agencies from accessing the worst affected areas.
They want to go to the areas under control of the opposition. They make a lot of difficulties to these UN agencies and to the international NGOs not to go to those areas.
However, South Sudan's Foreign Minister Barnaba Mariel Benjamin gave his assurance that the delivery of humanitarian aid would be allowed to move freely.
The government will allow free movement of delivery of humanitarian food and assistance to all the areas within the Republic of South Sudan. I can assure you, even the rebel areas, they will be allowed to have the relief.
No matter who is to blame for the violence, it's now a race against time to save South Sudan, which has literally become a shadow of itself.
After the break on Network Africa, the trial of the decade goes on recess for a month as Oscar Pistorius undergoes psychiatric evaluation. I'll have the details for you shortly. Don't go away.
22 airports around the country, an industry that generates billions of naira, connecting millions for business and leisure, will put you through the paces and give you an insider's view on the aviation industry. Watch Aviation This Week only on Channels Television. Aviation This Week, keeping an eye on the aviation industry.
Welcome back. You're still watching Network Africa. Now let's take a quick look at what's happening outside of the African continent.
Attackers in China's restive Zhejiang region have crashed 2 cars into shoppers at a market, killing 31 people. They also threw explosives during the attack in the regional capital, and more than 90 people were injured. The Ministry of Public Security called it a violent terrorist incident. Then, Thailand's army chief has announced a coup d'etat, saying the military is taking control of the government. In a televised statement, the army chief said the military would restore order and enact political reforms. It came after 2 days of inconclusive talks by the main political factions, and the army sealed off the talks venue and took the leaders away. Finally, Ukraine's government has confirmed a deadly attack on troops in the eastern region of Donetsk, with reports saying at least 11 soldiers were killed. Heavily armed terrorists attacked a checkpoint in the Volnovakha area, killing or wounding a number of soldiers. There is some contradiction as regards the death toll. While Associated Press journalists counted 11 bodies at the scene, a Russian website says 15 soldiers were killed.
Now, for those of us who were anticipating the conclusion of the trial of the decade, and by that I'm referring to the Oscar Pistorius trial, we're going to have to play the waiting game together. That's because the judge in the trial has ordered him to start daily tests from next Monday in order to assess his mental state when he killed his girlfriend. The judge told the South African athlete to attend West Koppies Psychiatric Hospital in Pretoria as an outpatient for a month, and this comes after a defense witness said the double amputee was suffering from generalized anxiety disorder.
South African Olympic and Paralympic track star Oscar Pistorius was ordered on Tuesday to undergo a month of psychiatric tests to find out whether he was criminally responsible on the night he shot dead his girlfriend on February 14th last year. Judge Thokozile Masipa told Pistorius he had to report to Pretoria's West Koppies Hospital, one of South Africa's top mental institutions, as an outpatient for up to 30 days starting on May 26.
1.1, that the accused present himself as an outpatient to the medical superintendent of the West Koppies Hospital on 26 May 2014 at 9 o'clock in the morning, and on every weekday thereafter at such times as may be determined by the medical superintendent for a period not exceeding 30 days at a time, as the court may from time to time determine. 1.2, that the accused remains at the West Koppies Hospital until 1,600 hours daily, or until such time that he is formally excused by the medical superintendent of the hospital or the person designated by the medical superintendent.
Masipa said the evaluation will be conducted in order to determine whether the accused, by reason of mental illness or mental defect, was at the time of the commission of the offense criminally responsible for the offense as charged.
A psychiatrist appointed in terms of the provisions of Section 79, subsection 1B, 1, inquire into whether the accused, by reason of mental illness or mental defect, was at the time of the commission of the offense criminally responsible for the offenses charged, whether he was capable of appreciating the wrongfulness of his act or of acting in accordance with an appreciation of the wrongfulness of his act.
Pistorius stood still in the dock, dressed in a black suit and tie, listening intently to details of the order.
The appointed psychiatrist and psychologist shall submit their reports compiled in terms of Section 79(3) to 5 of the Act to the Registrar of this court, as well as to the Director of Public Prosecutions and the accused as soon as it is concluded. 5, that the record of the court proceedings be made available to the said psychiatrist and psychologist should they regard it necessary to peruse same or any part thereof. And 6, that the matter be postponed to 30 June 2014.
The Olympic star could face a life sentence if he is found guilty of murdering his model girlfriend, River Steenkamp, who he shot and killed at his upmarket home in Pretoria last year. Pistorius has denied he killed Steenkamp in cold blood, saying he shot 4 times at the toilet door of his luxury Pretoria home to protect himself from what he thought was an intruder. The trial, that has dragged on for nearly 3 months, resumes on June 30.
Egyptians will be heading to the polls next week to elect a new president, and without surprise, demonstrations were in full swing this week. Sadly, things turned violent when 3 riot police were killed as they tried to disperse protesters. For now, we're going to focus our attention on what exactly it is that Egyptians are saying as regards the favorite presidential candidate, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
Posters of the former defense minister turned presidential candidate are plastered on almost every wall, and banners hang festively across streets and from balconies. Sisi is widely expected to defeat his only challenger, leftist Hamdin Tabahi, in next week's ballot. His supporters see Sisi as a savior who can end the political turmoil dogging Egypt since a popular uprising ended Hosni Mubarak's 3 decades of one-man rule in 2011.
What we need now is a leader, a military man, because that is who would rule the country well. Nothing but a military man will do. Did we get rid of Mercy to just bring in another like him? That doesn't work. What we need is the man who rescued the country. The man who truly rescued the country when it was drowning is Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
But while Sisi is a savior to some, others see him in the continuation of the anti-democratic practices of the Mubarak era. Sisi played a prominent role in the interim government following Mercer's ouster, and rights activists say the last 10 months have been characterized by severe abuses by the security forces and restrictions on free expression. Indeed, security forces killed over 1,500 Mercy supporters in the streets in August in the bloodiest civil unrest in Egypt's modern history. Tens of thousands of alleged Brotherhood supporters are also in jail, and the senior Brotherhood leadership is on trial on charges ranging from treason to murder.
But supporters of the man who ousted Mercy say that his